Welcome to the Dru Kelly Show. Let it unfold. Where hearts are laid bare and stories are told. From laughter to pain, the journey is real. On this vibrant stage, we're ready to heal. With each heartbeat echoing, the magic ignites.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, church folks, church goers, and everybody in between, welcome to the Dru Kelly Show. I'm your host, Dru Kelly, and over the next 2 weeks, you're in for a real treat. Why, you ask? Because we're about to introduce you to the incredible artists who will be gracing the main stage at the 18th Annual Prayze Factor Awards. That's right. It's happening in Atlanta, GA, right? Morrow, which is just 2 towns over from the airport. So it's a hop, skip, and a jump from the airport. But it's in Morrow, Georgia, happening from the 18th of September. That's a Thursday night, starting out with smooth jazz. On the 19th is the Media Awards, and there's a luncheon that's going on there. That night, Friday night, is toe-thumping, foot-stomping, quartet, and traditional gospel. 3 p.m. the next day, bruh man here and everybody else on the main stage will be walking that red carpet and talking to people like yourself, Pastor Dru. And then at 6 p.m., my, that main stage is going to be lit up with some of the most awesome talent that we've seen in these United States in quite some time. Tonight, don't you go anywhere. What I want you to do before we get into this is I want you to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything that's happening over here at the Dru Kelly Show. I want you all right now to give it up for the incredible, phenomenal, and unstoppable Michael Guinn. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Thank you so much for having me, Dru.
Appreciate you, man. Mike ain't just a talent. Mike is a vibe. Mike is a whole movement by himself. The brother is an actor, poet, he's a poet, actor, and spoken word artist, and an MC. And they don't just say MC, bro, man, is a high energy MC. You know what I'm saying? You need that swag at your event. That person is just gonna make sure that the event goes well, that people are quite entertained, that people are like, wow, I enjoyed the bro that set it up to get it going. That's your man right here. That's with us on tonight. That's his job, and he do it swell. Mike, he holds a movement, like I said. He's the CEO of Uplift Your Life, a 501c3 organization tackling mental health and wellness with the power of performance. He's been in films and TV shows streaming on Amazon, Peacock, Netflix, Tubi, YouTube, Roku, and now the Dru Kelly Show. If you ain't seen this brother nowhere else, you get to see him right here. He's right here, right now. This brother's an award-winning poet, storyteller, actor, as I stated, mental health advocate. He's hosted 6 ongoing open mics and 10 annual showcases. And he's even been nominated for a Gospel Choice Award and a Prayze Factor Award for his album, The Calling. The brother has 2 poetry published collections. 2, not 1, but 2. Brother's done 2 of those. That ain't easy. He's basically out here building an empire, having fun, and still making it look quite easy. And listen, y'all, mark your calendars. Like I said before, this brother's gonna be on that main stage, 18 years. Shout out to the Prayze Factor, Dr. Teresa Jordan and Tawanda Black. Shout out to you, ladies. This is one of yours, and he's gonna be on the stage lighting it up. We're talking, again, there's gonna be jazz, praise and worship, holy hip hop, quartet, traditional, contemporary Christian, and all the vibes that your heart, mind, body, and soul can hold. So Michael, pull up a chair, bro. Get ready, because we're about to have us a good time here on the Dru Kelly Show. Let's jump right into our interview. Michael, you're an actor, poet, MC, and mental health advocate. When do you find the time, man, to just sit and chill and binge on things that you like to see and watch?
Hey, man, I find the time. You know, God makes sure I find the time. You know, at stoplights, at stop signs. You know, you know, little 2 seconds. That's all I need. You know.
But you say, get it in when I can, right? Get it in when I can. If your life was, now again, you do all of this stuff. You do comedy, drama, musicals. If your life was a movie, would it be a drama Would it be comedy or would it be a musical?
It would be a drama.
It would be a drama. Why a drama?
Because it took a lot to get here, man. It took a lot to get here.
Man, take a moment and tell take a moment and tell us a little bit about what it took to get here to the Prayze Factor.
Well, you know what? I can remember a long time ago, man, working as a CPS investigator in Fort Worth, man. And I sit down at my desk one day from a long day in the field, and I just put my head down and started crying. And when I lifted my head, I had a pen in my hand, and the first thing I wrote was, "What good is my master's degree if I can't be the master of me?" And after that, everything came pouring out, my brother. That was December 21st, 1997. So from that day to now, it's what it took to get here.
That is awesome, man. What a story. In such a brief period of time. Usually it takes people 5 days to tell me a story that stems back that long. So thank you for briefing that for me. If you're going to turn this thing into a drama, who's playing Mike?
Do you act, Dru?
Yeah, I do.
we got the similar features. I'm just saying, put it out there. I mean, I don't know, man. I would leave that up to the experts.
Yeah. Now, when performing, we get to see things and know things that the audience sometimes don't have privy to. The audience don't know when the monitors aren't working. The audience don't know if my headpiece, I'm not able to talk to the sound booth, the control room, and that. What's the worst performance you've ever done where communication, whether it be through electronics or music off or whatever, what's the worst performance you've ever done that threw the whole thing off?
You know what? I really can't think of the worst. There have been some bad ones, but I can't think of the worst because you and I know as professionals, our job is to make sure we maintain the integrity of the show and to keep it running. Right. So for us, it might have been terrible logistically, but I think some real bad ones, man. Some of them shows in East Texas. I think I did a show in Chicago once that wasn't so good, but I can't think of a worse show because the show must go on.
Yeah, as an MC and host and that, the one thing that we have to learn is how to be a filler. And a filler is that person that fills in when things go wrong or bad, or the audience is not supposed to know that things went off the rail.
Right.
And so if the audience catch hold now, if the record scratch or something of that nature, the audience is going to know. But in situations where things are not coinciding, we, the fillers, the host, the MC, are supposed to keep you so entertained that you didn't even realize what just happened. One of the things that I do, Mike, with shows, when I get into that, I laugh at me, I laugh at the situation, and the audience end up laughing right along with me. By that time, they've already fixed it and we're ready to move on. You know what I'm saying? So if you weren't performing or advocating, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't performing or advocating, I'd be pushing people to perform and advocate.
Wow. That's it. So it's just in you.
Yes, I can't help it.
Now, you work with artists of all ages, not just adults, but you work with artists of all ages. What's been the biggest generational gap you've worked with, whether it be a play or something where you on stage with kids, and what age difference was there?
I would say 10 years old, man. Now there are some very, professional and know how to read the room level, youngsters, but obviously, couldn't wait to get back to their cell phone type youngsters.
Right.
I've worked with those, and that's been the biggest age gap is, being able to maintain focus throughout the entire production.
Now, one of the things that most people that I talk to about Prayze Factor is they love the multiculturalism, implicit, faceted environment that Prayze Factor brings. What is it that you bring to what it is that you do that reach not just one sector of people, but reach all?
Well, I'm still a full-time social worker.
Okay.
And so I have a master's in social work, and I've worked with all types of people on all types of levels. So what I bring is the ability to read the room and, like you said, fill in the gap and just be ready to keep the show going. But that ability to read the room and understand, different ages and different generations and different cultures, and know how to instantly implement that so that there's no lull anywhere. I think I bring that, and I've done that quite successfully for the last 25 years.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, you talked about getting to that point in your work, and that just tells me that you cared about your work enough to where that work hit your heart, your mind, your body, and your soul, which, come on, somebody, put you into a position to be able to possess the promise that God had for you, and the promise to write and to do everything that you're doing as far as the entertainment portion of your life is concerned. It took all of that hurt and pain and sorrow and what sometimes feel like defeat Tell us a story about your work without getting into the detail of names, but tell us a story about your work that really enabled you to pour into what it is that you do on stage.
You know what? I can remember a situation where we dealt with a young 11-year-old girl whose parents were not good parents. They were using her for prostitution and to support their drug habit. And how what got me was that she still loved her parents. She thought that was
Of
normal.
course,
That
of
you know what I'm
course.
saying. And so that right there, that touched me in a way, because I'm like, it's that learned behavior. They just thought
Hmm.
that why are you removing me from my home? This is my life. I love
Right.
my mom and dad. I don't know that the 5 to 6 men a day that are taking advantage of me is wrong. I still get to watch TV. I still get to have access to food. So what's wrong with it? So that right there impacted my life, man. And that was the story where I came in that day and sat down at my desk. And that was a story right there, man, that impacted my life. So what I learned is that I need to be able to meet people where they are, and to understand that meeting them where they are is going to help me get everybody to where they need to be in this business and in my personal life.
Well, thank you, man. Now, is this your first time performing at Praise Factor?
My first time performing at Praise Factor, but not my first time performing at big stages.
Okay, okay. This why'd you say a yes this year to Praise Factor?
Oh, I said yes this year to Praise Factor because Praise Factor this year said yes to me. It's a blessing.
say,
Dr. Jordan and some of the other wonderful folks in my life, like Miss Antoinette, that hey,
what
who
you
would say
say?
no to Praise Factor? Who would say no?
Say my name. Say my name. You said
Right,
my
right.
name. Now I'm about to say your name. Yeah, absolutely. Uh, through your work with Uplift, let's talk about that for a moment. You've seen the power of transformation. You've seen the performance to heal. You've seen a lot of things happen there. What role do you think the arts play in healing communities and individuals?
Very, very vital role. It is the premier role, in my opinion. And I might be jaded a little bit because I'm an
Hmm.
artist, and I
Right.
believe that there's a healing. It's always healing in our art. So for me, it's the number one. Conduit to helping people understand where they are and where they need to be, socially, artistically, and most of all, emotionally and mentally. So it's number one for me.
I'm right there with you, man. I say there's two things that God gave us that connects us universally. We don't worry about each other's race, ethnicities, genders, and that's sports and entertainment.
Right.
Those two things there, for whatever reason, we don't care about anything else. When we go to a baseball game or a concert, whoever we sit next to become our family.
That's right.
They become our family because we have this interest that supersedes anything that keeps us in a terrible state. With all the accolades you've received, what's one lesson you've learned along the way that you wish you could tell younger Mike?
Be humble.
That's
Just be
good.
humble because it's fleeting. That 15 minutes can be gone in a second. Just be humble and learn from every opportunity and give honor to God.
Wow. Speaking of learning from every opportunity, who's that one person? Because I believe that we are who God intended us to be. Who we were at 5, 15, 20, or 30 is not who we're ultimately supposed to be. We're forever evolving to become who it is that we're supposed to be. And there's people along the way who are instrumental in us cultivating those gifts as we grow into becoming who we are. Give a shout out to some of the people along the way who helped you to understand this business, to help you cultivate the gift. And even they may not be gifted in the arts, but they were a good listener, or perhaps maybe you just needed somebody to be there. Give a shout out to some of those people for me.
First off, in regard to this, I'd have to say, Mrs. Antoinette Titus, I got to give her a shout out. She's been in my corner, allowed me to, be a part of some things that I never would have been a part of, and been there to mentor me. My fiance, Miss Valerie Kelso, who is also an artist and entrepreneur. You got to have that support at home. Otherwise, you end up, twice divorced and not, by yourself in this mission. And then, of course, my mom and some other folks, like my son, who is also in the industry as a producer, who produced my album, The Calling. And then mainly just, all the folks that come to the open mic, great work, the co-workers who understand that, you have to take that time off from work and still, know that, you're going to be there. And for them to come out and support me as well. So just a lot of people, but those key folks right now in this moment are what's keeping me going.
That's awesome, man. It makes a difference when you know that there's somebody there that cares, when there's somebody there that's gonna be there, and that listening ear and that sounding board is more important than somebody that's gonna be answering the phones or
Exactly.
booking folks for you. You know, when you have somebody and people that are gonna be honest with you. I need the honest folks.
Right.
I got somebody in my corner that say, "Don't do that again."
Yeah, yes, sir. Exactly.
Whatever you do, don't do that again. Now, Prayze Factor, they bring a lot of different genres of music together. How do you see your work bringing different styles and expressions to what it is that you do?
Well, before Prayze Factor, I was blessed to be an award-winning spoken word artist, a national award-winning artist, an international spoken word champion. I've taken this work outside the United States, and God has blessed me to be able to be successful in those endeavors as well. I feel that this is an alternative way of speaking. Him speaking through us and us having an opportunity to channel those vibes, that spirit, that healing. And so I think this is unique because we don't have any instruments or anything like that. It's just the words from the heart and the soul. And I'm blessed to be a finalist in this year's Prayze Factor Award in that category, as an example of someone who has done that quite well.
Right. Now, what categories are you in?
It's the alternative solo.
Alternative solo. Okay. And you in the MC category?
No, I'm not.
You're not MC?
Actually, no. I was a finalist for the alternative solo spoken word.
Oh, wow. I wish I had known. I definitely would have nominated you for MC, man. After going back and watching some of your stuff, I definitely would have nominated you for MC. If you could see one change in the gospel entertainment industry, what would it be and why?
It would be to have more platforms at the Prayze Factor level. I think we have a lot of them at other levels that are not doing it as well as Prayze Factor does, and that could be a little disappointing for folks if they're not able to receive the kind of love like I'm receiving now from you, Dru, and from Dr. Jordan. I think we need to have more of those professional platforms that really are transparent and consistent, and really paying attention to who actually is the best and not my cousin.
Right. I can't say it enough, man. I'm a sound person. I'm a stickler for a good sound. I don't care if you're doing comedy or singing, emceeing or whatever. I like a good sound.
Right.
Sound matters. There's always a sound before the storm. There's a sound before an accident. There's a sound before anything happens. There's always a sound. And I like a good sound. And the one thing that I like about Prayze Factor is that sound in that place is magnificent. It is absolutely magnificent. For those of you who will be around Atlanta, Metro Atlanta on the 18th, 19th, 20th, you need to go ahead and get your tickets. You can go to www.praisefactorawards.com. That's www.praisefactoraward.com. Go to events. Look at what's happening every day. And these folks that you're seeing your boy Pastor Dru interview, these people will be on the red carpet on Saturday at 3 p.m. And then they will be performing starting at 6 p.m. Now, I know some of y'all might be coming quite a ways and you might be tired. Well, guess what? If you make it to Prayze Factor and you need a ride, don't worry about it. Dr. Jordan got you hooked up. There's a car shuttle service that you can, they'll put you in touch with, that you can call them. They pick you up and drop you off. You need a hotel that is not going to cost you an arm and a leg. They got you covered there. These hotels are quite expensive these days, but they have a group discount at a hotel there in Morrow, Georgia. So they got you there. Listen, www.praisefactorawards.com. Make sure you go there and get your tickets. I just have a few more questions for you. And this one is, what advice do you have for up-and-coming artists who aspire to share their voices at a platform like Prayze Factor?
My advice is to, follow your heart, create good content, be consistent. Not every platform is like you're hearing an old saying, not all money is good money, but not all platforms are good
Everything
platforms.
ain't for you.
Right. Because if you do and you falter and you get, if you get with folks who are not looking out for your best interest, you'll miss a chance to be a part of a wonderful platform that is the Prayze Factor Awards.
Awesome. Has there ever been a time, you've been doing this for quite some time, has there ever been a time you say, you know what, I need a break. I need to put this on the shelf for a minute. I need to regroup. restock, restore, replenish, and just let God do some things. I'm not really there, and I know I'm not there. Let me take some time to restock, restore, and replenish. You ever had one of those
Oh
errors?
yeah, 2015, man. That was the year I had to change everything. Had to
Wow.
switch everything around, man, and start focusing on me and what he wanted for me. And that's where I am now.
Wow.
That
What
was
what
it.
what was going on that caused you to say, time to?
Just a lot of bad decisions and a
Mhm.
lot of people that were not looking out for me, and a lot of me not looking out for me, and
Wow. That's good.
just not taking the break that I needed and making the right decisions and pivots in my life, and not putting the people that cared about me first, and not putting my work first. So when you do that, you lose those things, and not putting God first mainly.
Wow. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. Yes, sir. He said all those things will be added to you. Isn't it amazing, man, when you look back in retrospect and you come or you get to a place of clarity and you realize what a fool I've been, you know?
Yes, I'm telling you right now, I knew I was making the right decisions, Drew, when I got the call from the NAACP Image Awards. And they said, Michael, we've watched you for 3 years and there's no drama, everything's fine. How would you like to be a voting member of the Image Awards? And that's
Oh,
what I've
wow.
done. So I not only am I a voting member of the NAACP Image Awards, I'm also now a new voting member of the Recording Academy.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so
Praise God,
the
man.
bless, and that just happened last month. And like I said, when you're doing things the right way and you're putting him first, he'll take care of you, and that's what's happening now.
That's awesome, man. What I hear is your gifts will make room for you. Too often I meet artists who try to make room for the gifts, but the word of God says your gifts will make room for you.
Amen.
And that goes
Amen.
back to what you were saying about doing it the right way. Don't try to do the shortcuts on everything. That was one of my problems. I always tried to shortcut to get to where I was going, and I would find myself having to go back and fix things and go back and hire new people to do what these folks messed up. So it really wasn't a shortcut. So I
Right.
say to all of the artists out there, man, listen, if you got to spend some money on vocal coaches, if you have to spend money to get your merch out there, to pay to go in studios, don't just go because the studio is cheap. You got to find somebody that love God, love what they're doing, and see in you what God sees in you. And I guarantee you, you'll get a different outcome. If you had to give a calling to those who be watching you at Prayze Factor, what would it be?
Look, Mama, I made it. Because
I
that
know that's right.
because Praise Factor is the place to be.
Right, right. Say, look at your boy, mama.
Yeah.
And before we go, I want to thank you, Mike, for being my guest. But before we go, do you have any final words of inspiration or wisdom you'd like to share with the audience?
I would like to say to anyone in this artistry, in this entertainment business, that if you continue to push your pen, and put God first behind every stroke of that pen, then the sky's the limit. I'm only able to be a part of the Friday event, the main event, and then host the Rejoice concert on
Wow.
Sunday because someone at this level saw the work that God was doing through me. So I would say keep working, stay humble, and if you can, try to get on the Dru Kelly Show.
God bless you. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that most independent artists don't have a bunch of sponsors and backers to give them all this money to go and just do everything that they want. Some people are working full-time jobs and taking their money from their full-time jobs to put into um, their artistry. And there's a lot of people who appreciate these artists but don't know that. And so I speak to my audience that if you ever hear anybody like my boy Mike, hint, hint, that has merchandise for sale to help them to further what it is that they're doing, be sure to do so. Did you bring any merch with you?
I am going to be bringing merch with me. I sure am. Yes.
Okay, just run through some of the stuff that you have that you'll bring with you to Prayze Factor.
I am going to bring only one thing, and that's a copy of my book. And that
Okay.
book is called Crying in Colors. It's the only book that I want folks to have. I've had that book published for a while, and I just feel that it's so many people haven't gotten a copy of it. So I'm going to bring that book, and what I'll be sharing is from that book.
Okay, give me a little synopsis of Crying in Colors.
Crying in Colors is a book that I wrote as a poetic biography of my life. I call it a poemography.
Oh,
And
wow.
so it actually chronicles the journey of my life growing up in East Texas, to, finally, accepting God's calling to be a spoken word artist and to, share the works of my life and inspire other men and other, folks going through what I went through as a youth, to see that there is a life, there is a way out. Just stay true to who you are. So that's what Crying in Colors is about.
Alrighty, everybody. Crying in Colors will be available at the Prayze Factor Awards. Mike, again, I want to thank you so much for being my guest here at the Dru Kelly Show. We truly appreciate you taking the time to be with us today.
Yes, sir.
Bro, I can really say that you have inspired me, and I'm sure you've inspired my viewers. You're definitely an entertainer, but what I like about you, Mike, is that you're uplifting at the same time. Some people are just funny, and it starts there and it ends there. But when you can be funny and uplift and pour into people, that's a gift that goes far beyond just comedy itself. So I appreciate you for that, brother. Remember, again, you can see this brother on the main stage at the 18th Prayze Factor Awards in Atlanta, Georgia, on the 20th. That's a Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Go and get your tickets now, man. I was there and ended up in the overflow because it was just that crowded. And I had been there all day, but because I wasn't in the auditorium, I ended up in the overflow. So you want to get your tickets, you want to get them soon, and you don't want to wait till 6 o'clock to leave your house. You just might be sitting out in the vestibule area. So I'm just kidding. They'll have seating for you, but you want to get your tickets now and not wait. Don't put it off. Some of you are always last minute, and you want to do things at the last minute. This is not something you should do last minute. You should go and get your tickets now, www.praysefactorawards.com, and be there. If you want to get there a little bit earlier, you can actually see some of the people on the red carpet as they interview and give us a little bit about their life journey, work, and the fashions that they have on. We're planning on having a good time from Thursday all the way to Sunday. If you're available, be sure to come out and kick it with us. Thank you for being my guest again, Mike. Once again, keep shining, keep inspiring, and remember to uplift your life every single day, people. Until next time, this time, reminding you to stay blessed, stay motivated, and keep praising no matter what. I'm your boy, Pastor Dru. God bless you, and we'll see you next time. God bless.